At 37 years old, the man seems unstoppable. Well, almost unstoppable. Years after years, miles after miles, he puts on bucket after bucket, slowly approaching a record that was thought unattainable. He is breaking records after records, and even Father Time seems to yield in front of him. At 37, going after a scoring title isn't normal. But questions still persist. In his 19th year, is he still the best player in the league? Can he still carry a team on his shoulder to a deep run in the playoffs? Or is he destined to put up great stats in a below 500 team? Is this season just a smokescreen to his real level? And is Father Time finally catching up? For the first time in his career, LeBron James is playing the center position, definitely sealing the case of the most complete player ever. He's the only one in history to play at a consistent basis in all 5 positions. He played at the shooting guard spot in his early days in Cleveland, the 4 in small ball lineups in Miami. He was the Lakers point guard in the 2020 season, and now he's competing against Embiid and Jokic at the 5. And on top of that, he's taking that challenge at 37 years old. His quickness and jumping ability may have been declining for the last decade, but his bag keeps getting deeper throughout the years. He's constantly adapting. Unlike players like Wade, Kobe, Melo or Westbrook, who are locked into the style of play and therefore are unable to adapt to the physical decline, LeBron has proven and he's proving now that he's able to retool his natural abilities and impeccable basketball brain to dominate. And that's why he has a 16 years long prime. Adapting. That's what he's doing this season. He takes more shots at the post and turns his back to the basket more frequently. And he's pretty damn good efficient at taking those shots. He's shooting at 57% in post-up this season. That's the second highest percentage just behind Nikola Jokic, who's shooting those shots at 62%. And among all the 20 plus point scorers, with 79.4%, he has the second highest percentage on shots from less than 3 feet of the basket. So, at 37, he has changed his game to become the second best scorer at the post, while remaining one of the 2 best slashers in the league. But let's get a little deeper, shall we? Here are the main metrics that we use to measure the true value of a player. You have the point per game, true shooting percentage, PER, win shares, the value over replacement, box plus minus, offensive box plus minus, and defensive box plus minus. And these metrics shows us that 1. Jokic is the most valuable player in the league and it's not even close. And 2. LeBron is in the top 5 of most of them. In fact, the only measure where LeBron is not in the top 5 are win shares. But he is still higher ranked than MVP candidate, like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Ja Morant or Luka Doncic. But 3 players seems to be constantly ahead of him. And those 3 players are Giannis, Embiid and Jokic. Except for true shooting percentage, where Embiid is behind LeBron. Every metrics are pointing to the fact that LeBron is still one of the 4 most valuable players in the league. But as you might know, there's a difference between being the most valuable player and being the best player. For example, Draymond is certainly one of the most valuable players in the league, but Shea is a better player. If Embiid and Curry played one-on-one, who would win? I know basketball is a team sport and LeBron more than anyone, so easy. But wouldn't the outcome depend on who has the ball first? Because Embiid can't defend Curry on the perimeter, and Curry won't stand a chance as he don't have the physicality to stop Embiid at the post. So the best player, the one who would have at least a chance to win in any cases, no matter who starts with the ball, would be a player who is balanced, right? A player who would be able to do everything 90% as good as the best in each category. And if you haven't figured it out yet, that man is LeBron James. He is faster than centers, stronger than forwards, and bigger than guards. He is the second best scorer at the post, the second best driver to the basket, an efficient shooter, and one of, if he's not, the best passer in basketball. He's leading the league in scoring while being one of the most efficient scorers. He has the highest field goal percentage and 2-point percentage among the non-interior players who are shooting more than 15 field goals a game. He's leading his team in all 5 main statistical categories, except for blocks. The man does it all. Well, almost. Let's talk about defense. If there is one thing everyone seems to agree on, is that LeBron doesn't defend anymore, and that his lack of involvement on defense is starting to get annoying. But what if I told you that this narrative isn't true? Even with diminished physical abilities, LeBron can emulate Jokic on offense and Draymond on defense. Both are NBA elite at what they do without any jump, speed, or lateral quickness. Like Draymond, LeBron's defense shines in a good team with a coherent system. He is still an incredible help defender when engaged with his ability to cut past lanes, cover the weak side, and relay commands. Take a look at Draymond Green 2 years ago when the Warriors were playing without Steph and Clay. He was a complete disaster, offensively and defensively. That was because the systems were different, so as the teammates. But this season, while put in great condition, with teammates that hustle and know the plays, and he's suddenly one of the best defenders in the league. Early this season, he was even well-deservedly leading the DPOY discussion. I'm not saying that LeBron James at 37 years old has a DPOY level defense. I'm not. But he's not that far. This season, in a terrible system and no teammates to help, he's 32 in defensive box plus minus. Above Jaren Jackson Jr., Drew Holiday, players that are considered elite defenders. And last season, in a coherent system, with teammates he knows, he was 5th in defensive box plus minus. So how about that for defensive flaws? At the 4th spot, his aging athleticism is less apparent as well as not being taxed so much on defense as he struggles against true centers. While in his younger days his defense was largely due to his freakish athleticism, today, at 37, he seems to rely more than ever on his basketball IQ. And that's because of Father Time. Yes, Father Time is starting to have an impact on his body. He misses more and more games, but by changing his style of play throughout the years, we have to admit that he is putting a pretty good fight against it. Father Time is like a wall that everyone will hit. Some will stop right before they reach it, some will continue heads down and try to break it, but no matter how hard you hit it, your body will always break for the wall. However, some chosen ones stop right in front of it and start removing brick by brick. But they better be prepared. It's a long and tiring journey.
Tired, 14 days, 13 days, whatever the hell it is, don't mean nothing. Tired is only in the mind. You tell yourself you're tired, you're gonna be tired. I don't get tired.